Hello everyone. So on behalf of Gear House, I welcome you all to this session, like ET preparation session for business data management course. Within this session, we will be discussing about some essentials that you need to understand, some concepts and some PYQs that are important for your BDM course. Not guaranteeing this, but something you can learn from here. So the table of content would be like basics of economics, circular economic flow, production, consumption and exchanges, demand and supply, recruitment processes, which is your mainly into HRM part, human resource management. Then you also have A/B testing. You also have some fundamentals of Excel, basics and advanced. Then the post asked question, which is often there in almost every PYQ, which is your overall equipment efficiency. So OEE is one of major like to see here. Then there are some more important topics that you can think of learning, which is your financial statement and analysis, e-commerce industry, applied analysis, inventory management, fintech, manufacturing sector, and production. So before delving into the foundations of economics, let me reiterate very principal definition of what exactly the term economics means. So, as a general word, economy or anything which we deals with money, it's your economy. Okay. But the term economics, the discipline, it is something that focuses on production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. The study of economics is primarily concerned with analyzing the choices of individuals, businesses, government, and nation that they make to allocate the limited resources. Now, what to imply from this word limited resources? All of us, every human being, have some desires, wants, and to fulfill those demands, we would or wants, we would invest something, we would spend our money. Now, how are we prioritizing it? Because we have limited resources, we have limited money or spending capability with us. So how are we taking decisions on what to spend and what not to spend, how to manage all of these finances? That understanding, that psychology, and that understanding is the bridging gap of this discipline economics. This is what exactly this term economics means, the discipline means and implies to. Now, as we understand the term economics, we also would want to understand these two fundamentals, which are micro and macroeconomics, because these are two elements that encompass your discipline as a whole. So now, theorizing the basic definitions of these two terms as well, what exactly you would understand from micro and macroeconomics. As the term suggests, microeconomics is something that deals with a singular unit or something very small, not on a very larger scale, while the term macro, which evidently means that something on a very wider view to say. So, in literal terms, microeconomics is the field of economics that looks at economics behavior of individuals, household, and companies. For an instance, you as a person would want to spend something, or you would want to manage your household expenses. How would you do that? That understanding, that study, that field would be, or that behavior would be microeconomic behavior. But when you talk something on very wider scale, to take it on a simpler level, when Modi ji talks about nation's growth, which would be your GDP, GNP, inflation, unemployment, various other factors. These are something which you would take on macro level, right? Macroeconomics. This is what it is. When something is concerned about very larger scale, on regional level or national level or continental, even sometimes global level. So this is what turns down to your macroeconomic principles. Now, because microeconomics focuses on behaviors of small units of economy, it tends to limit itself to specific and specialized area of study. This includes the balance of supply and demand in individual market, the behavior of individual customers or consumers, which is also consumer theory. Then you also have workforce demand, and you also have how individual companies determine wages for their workforces. These are some basic essentials or some examples to understand how microeconomics behaviors are analyzed. These are certain things you can analyze through microeconomics, but in macroeconomics you have much broader reach than microeconomics. Prominent area of research in fields of macroeconomics concerns with implication of fiscal policies, uh, locating the reasons for inflation or unemployment, or implications of government borrowing and economic growth on nationwide scale, something of very greater intensity or take. So this is how you judge these two parameters. Now, since we understanding the basics and foundations of these principles, you have five activities that thrives an economy. So now, what are they? What are they? So first would be your production. Other is your consumption. Now, since there are production and consumption, there would be an exchange. So exchange is your third activity that thrives an economy, because in exchange, someone who is producing will that particular good or services will be consumed by some person X. So that circular loop, that circular model thrives on, that goes on to infinity, because demand, if there is a demand, there would be supply. If there is a supply, there will be a demand. This is a dependent relationship. Then you also have distribution as one more activity in economy, and you also have investments, because in distribution you can expect resources distribution, like money, which is moved in return for goods and services. Then you have investments, like you invest in mutual funds or something. So these are things that you can take into your economic activities. Now there are two primary agents in an economy. The two primary agents are your firms and households. Firms are your producers, someone who produces goods and services to meet or fulfill demands of their consumers, which are households, which takes us to our circular flow of income or economy. Now, let's understand this in more effective way. You are a household because you are an individual entity. You are earning for your house, you are earning for your well-being, your sustenance. So you would be working in some company. Let's say we all are students of data sciences, so we aspire to work in some good corporate firms. You are appointed as a consultant at some firm X from any big three or big four companies. So you would be providing them labor, because you are working, you are putting your time, energy, effort for that firm, and in exchange they'll be giving you some wages, and those wages will account for your efforts, and in return you can buy goods and services. So this interaction creates a continuous cycle of economic activity where money and resources circulate between firms and households. I hope this makes you more clearer about what exactly the circular flow is. Circular means simple. You start at some point and you reach there again. This is your circular flow of income that a household would give labor uh, in general, and then firm will utilize it. It will give you goods and services, which will be again consumed by house, and then again this goes on. This circle completes. Correct. And household does the same thing. They spend on goods and services, and since you will buy anything of some company X, they'll be having that money. They'll be spending on rent, wages, interest, profit, and they'll be supplying it to household in form of labor. Because you are labor, you are the one who is centrally holding the chain. This is how you understand circular flow of income. Now, here is one more entity which is involved in all of these processes: government. So, intervention of government is something more essential. So, government acts as both regulatory and participant in economy. Government does both the things. It is a regulator. It is also a participant. It collects taxes from both firms and household, and the same taxes are used to generate revenue for public goods and services. You see a lot of infrastructure around us. You see roads being built, airports, or dams, or local infrastructure like healthcare, education, policies, subsidies. All of these things are through the money of us. We are the taxpayer. So government takes and receives, and it gives you in return in terms of these public goods and services. Government intervention ensures that market operates efficiently and equitably, addressing issues like market failure and providing essential services. Because you cannot expect everyone to take charge of everything. So government is that regulatory authority to facilitate everything. Because not every private companies may have that incentive or capacity to operate such huge infrastructure like building a road or healthcare or education. They need something more tangible for them to survive or to grow. So this is your growth understanding of how market operates. So here again, you can take this flow chart as an example that government takes taxes from both the company from both the agents and gives them this goods and services or incentive in return. You have product market, you have resource market. You give something to someone, or they would be taking it, and they'll be supplying you back in terms of something essential for you. So this is yours again, circular flow of economy, where government is one of your regulatory authority. Next, let's see one question again from the very same concept. Question is, in the context of economic flow, what do firm provide to household in exchange of labor? Answer, I think you all of know, which is wages. Simple, because exactly, household gives labor to a firm in exchange of wages. You will get wages, you'll spend it to fulfill your desires. So I think this is an evident question. Another one, in the economic flow, what role do households typically play? This is a very simple question. Household typically plays Sir, am I audible? Vignesh, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Oh, I had some
Yes,
network
you're
issue. I
audible.
mean, my internet got shut
Yes,
down.
we'll cut this
Okay, I
part.
think
No,
I'm
no
audible.
big deal. Yes, yes.
So, in the economic flow, what role do households typically play? So, this is a MCQ question. You have to select one single option. And since when we discuss about households in general, households has only the primary role of household is to be consumer of goods and services. You might confuse yourself with supplier of capital, because we have inferred the question is a household would provide land, labor, and capital. But on a major or macro scale, household are typically assumed to be consumer of goods and services. That's it. So the correct option here would be consumer of goods and services. Next, we have production, consumption, and exchange. So now, theorizing some more theories just to bridge our understanding of what exactly these factions are. So production, it is a process of converting raw material into something useful as a good and services. So we all see factories around us. They would produce something of our own utilities, be it snacks, FMCG industry, or your lifestyle industry, grooming industry, or so forth. So this is production. Utility is subjective and varies from person to person, but you get some utility through production. This is what exactly production is. Again, consumption. Now, other factor that involves here is consumption. Your ability to, or your willingness to purchase something, or to spend resources to acquire goods with utility value to acquire satisfaction. This is consumption. Let's say I'm someone who really likes having a lot of sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead. So I would be very much tending to buy sneakers which are into market. I would tend to purchase something which is new. This gives me satisfaction. So this is me spending on resource to acquire the goods. Because if there are no consumption, there would be no production. As I iterated priorly, let me reiterate again. So everything is dependent. Production and consumption, they cannot exist independently. They are dependent on each other. So this is how we can understand the relationship between production and consumption, and this is how your exchanges are. So next, we have your consumer behavior and market forces, which is utility theory. We also have law of diminishing marginal utility, indifference curve analysis, which also gives us elasticities, market equilibrium, curve shift, demand and supply basics. So this is your simply consumer behavior and market forces, which is simply a basic theory that how consumers behave against certain market shifts. So uh, this is this is what we can take it as. I'll think of some good example to make you understand this particular point. So for us, as a, let's say, consumer, I have desire of something, and if I want something with, I can pay any amount for that. That is something, my consumer behavior, that I am willing to pay any amount of money for a certain thing that I am really willing to buy. It is my, desire, that yes, I want this. There are some things like necessities or utilities, or let's say wants. Something I would be like, okay, if there is a iPhone, I want it. It is priced as 50,000. I have a budget of 40,000. So would I want to bridge that budget or not? That is again a consumer behavior of mine. If I bridge that behavior, it means I direly need that. I want it at any condition. But if I do not, it means, oh, it's okay. I do not want it so direly. I can wait for the price to shift. If not, I can probably take something of my own budget. So these are your demand and supply principles. Again, you have firms, cost and pricing strategies. I'll take it further. And then now another important theory here is your recruitment process, which is part of your HRM. So in HRM, there are four important things you need to understand. One is your job description, other is your indent, third is your employer referral, and you have appraisal. So what these individual terms implies to. For job description, we all are students. We all would want a job for us. I mean, we would really want it, right? So for us to understand what this term job description is, it summarizes duties, what you are supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. I mean, primarily what you're supposed to do within that job. What are the qualifications required for that job? Because without that, you cannot understand if you're a good fit for that role or not. Then you also have role expectations, that what company is expecting from you. It could not be simply you theorizing everything, but it would be something rather company, what their expectations are. So which are used to align candidates based on their once I would know automation tech, but does that company really need it? No. If they don't, these are not business needs. If you are good with Python and SQL, you are good. If not, you're not a fit. This is how you can understand these terms of company expectations or company or business needs. Indent. It is internal HR form used to request a new hire, like which includes budget, number of positions, skills required, and urgency. It is an internal memo. It is not floated amongst employees. It is not something a person who is being recruited he'll get. Indent is a thing which revolves within HR, human resource team. Employee referral. It is something, a strategy where current employees suggest candidates from their network, usually which results in quicker and more reliable hires. So what you simply we seek referrals from our seniors. भैया हमें बताओ कोई अच्छी अगर आपकी कंपनी में जॉब है या कोई पोजीशन खाली है हमें बताओ. We would really be benefited from that. So it benefits both you with as a someone who has good skill set, and company who is wanting or who can benefit from that skill set. That bridge can be created, can be mediated through employee referral scheme, because someone from company would refer you. Okay, yes, I have a friend or a junior or an acquaintance of mine who is a good fit for this role. You can probably tap into him and see if he can you know cover up the role. So this is your employee referral. Then your appraisal, which is systematic evaluation of employee performance over time. you saw promotion, feedback, and development. So you often hear the term that you have 5% appraisal, 7% appraisal, 10% appraisal. What are these? So after a certain point of time, every company evaluates their employees, their performances, that how efficiently they are working. They've covered their KPIs or not. KPIs are your key performing indexes, and if are you performing or not, or are you doing your KRAs or not, which is your key responsibility areas. So these metrics are used to evaluate one employee within a company. Then recruitment and onboarding processes. It starts with your requisitions, then sourcing, then screening, interviews, and offers. Simply, uh, as a HR, I would roll out a form or a job description that yes, I am wanting to hire someone. Then I would get some responses on different channels. It could be print media, it could be social media handles, it could be website, or it could be through employer portals. Then I would screen them. Then I'll take interviews. Then if I really like the guy or girl, I would offer them. Hey, Aja, I'll take you in. That's how it works. And there are a lot of onboarding metrics to effectively understand who are your new hires, adapt, and predict long-term retention and early productivity. These are your onboarding matrices. And then you have taken enterprise data strategies, which uses HR data to make informed decisions. Because through HR data, you can evaluate your candidates. You can easily understand uh, how to rank some of your employee, or how to rank your internal team candidates using some ranking algorithms. You can track performances. You can track and see if the sourcing effectiveness is really reliable or not. The employee is really meeting his key responsibility areas or not. Is he performing based on indexes or not? So this is how you can make informed decisions, which is very essential part of an enterprise or a firm, because you cannot waste your money on someone who is not giving you the value you have hired him or her for. So it is necessary. So now let's take one question here, which is a form created by HR that outlines the budgetary details, skills, and capabilities required is called. Now, as we took theory for all of these four terms: indent, job description, employer referral, and appraisal. Vignesh, what do you think would be the appropriate answer for this? Tell me.
The correct answer should be indent.
And why?
Because why should the job description goes to the employees? Why should the employees know what the budgetary details of the whole, you can say, whole
Operation.
department or whole batch of recruitment is? He should only know maybe the expected pay scale, not the budget.
Correct. So this is what differentiates your indent or requisition from job description. Requisition is one step prior to job description. Like as an HR, I would create one indent that yes, these are I would spend this much amount on this particular skill set or this particular role. Let's say I want to hire an AI engineer. So I would create budgetary details that okay, since I want to onboard someone with these capabilities, this skill set would require this much amount of money to be paid on behalf of firm for this one particular year. So your entire budgetary details or CTC would be calculated, skills would be matched for those for that CTC, uh, and then capabilities and requirements and so forth. So this is what your indent refers to. I hope it clears. Then next you have, which of the following uh, is typically not a component of job description. Mr. Vignesh, tell me, what did you understood from this theory?
What I feel is that the recruitment process itself should not be a component of the job description. Why? Because skills required for the job is something I need to know before I apply for the job. I need to read it in the job description. Key responsibilities after joining the job is something also I need to know what I'll be exactly doing on the job. What are the job performance indicators is also what I need to know. But the recruitment process itself, it will be from the start till end. This may be there, but not in the job description itself.
Okay, correct. So this is the correct answer, which is recruitment process. Because you would never want to know what is the process, and why would you want to know the process for the first place? Because this won't really add so much value to you, and it is not relevant to you. You would want to have skill set what are posed for that role. You would want to know the key responsibilities. You would want to know job performance indicators. Yes, how and how would your appraisals be inferred and so forth. But recruitment process is something very redundant here. So this is the correct answer. Now you have two kind of employee sourcing: internal and external. Internal sourcing is something you get from employer referral schemes. No, sorry, internal sourcing is something you get from your organization itself. It means that let's say I am an HR and I want to recruit. I want to recruit someone. So I can simply give promotion to someone on the lower role and advance into that particular role. I can probably reshuffle the team from our organization itself, so that it boosts it reduces my recruitment cost for the first place. Because to begin the recruitment process, I'll have to spend something. uh, it also is something that I can give promotions, and it could boost employee models, because through promotions employees are guaranteeing you their loyalties. You can expect that since you give them appraisals, you give them incentives of their hard work based on, again, their performances in past. So it also saves a lot of your time, because to onboard someone, it will typically take 1 or 2 months. You'll float a form, you'll do a lot of screening, you'll do a lot of manual work, but that can be completely avoided by internal sourcing. So this is what internal sourcing employs implies to. And but there are some disadvantages also for internal sourcing. One could be you might not have a lot of talent pool within your organization. You might have, you might not have. This is subjective. So subjectivity cannot be a basis of recruitment, because for a company or a firm to or industry to grow, they would really need good decision makers, good leaders on higher roles, on better roles, or you should have great talent pool in your organization to pull it off. Secondly, it could create some hindrances within your company, because promoting person X might create internal drift within the company. So it takes you to one loop or one thought of internal competition or office politics, what we say. So hence, these are some disadvantages of internal sourcing. Or external sourcing, we all know external sourcing is something very essential. So let's first discuss about disadvantages. It takes time, it takes cost, and you might not, you may or may not find a cultural match person. That if that person has a cultural fit with the company or not. So it could be your three disadvantages. But for the case of advantages, you have a lot. One could be you can get a great culture fit. It could be something, you will have a lot of talent pool opportunities. You can have people with great skill set. So and you can have a lot of room and opportunities to find what you really need, which you cannot find in internal sourcing, because you have limited pool there. You don't have ocean to dive into. You only have limited resources. And through external sourcing, you can have that, ocean amount of sources. Sky's the limit. Just go and take anyone you want, pay them how much they want, and they'll be there. I mean, yes. So one question regarding this is, which of the following which describes the strategic advantage of internal sourcing? Select all that apply. Okay, so it is your multiple select question. Let's read all the options. It eliminates the need for an external recruitment process entirely. Focus on the word entirely here. Second, it guarantees 100% success rate in employee performance post transition. Focus on this word 100% success rate. Then third option we have, could speed up the process of staffing the position. Focus on the word could speed up. And then the fourth option is, your better familiarity reduces the risk that selected person may turn out to be incompetent. Again, So, and now analyzing these four options. Here in the first option, this is wrong because it says that it eliminates an internal recruitment process entirely. No, you cannot be sure about if it really helps you eliminating the entire recruitment process, because you really have a limited pool, limited resources, limited people. You cannot completely rely on your internal recruitment processes. So this is wrong. Then next, it guarantees 100% success rate in employee performance post transition. No, you cannot expect someone to perform, uh, with 100% post transition, because two factors. Number one, some person who is really working great on his lower role cannot be expected to be a leader, because there is a leadership difference that varies from person to person. A person can be a good employee but cannot be a good leader, a team lead per se. So the transition might not turn fruitful and may turn fruitful. It is a subjectivity, so we cannot guarantee it. So again, this is not an advantage. Then it is uh, could speed up the process of staffing the position. Yes, this is something an advantage, because as I have previously explained you about, that this internal sourcing can help you reduce the time and can speed up the role whenever you really need it. I mean, let's say someone resigned from my team and I really want to fill that role because that is an essential role. It could be your chief technical officer or someone from core technical team, or someone could be from your product team, or some C-suite role. So you would really want to fill that role through internal evaluations, so that your work is not hampered, because that leadership role is something very essential in any business organization. Then you have better familiarities, reduces the risk that selected person may not turn out to be incompetent. Yes, so one bigger advantage is you already know your employees. If someone is working with you for 6 months or 1 year, it can easily help you to evaluate if the person is really competent enough, uh, uh, or because you are not certain about the new recruit is really competent enough for the role or not, because that is simply an interview, that is simply a screening, two, three, four round, again depending on candidate and companies itself. But that four rounds of interview cannot determine if a person is really competent enough to suit or fill the role. But with better familiarities, risk can be reduced. Again, here we are using a potential parameter, which is it may reduce the risk. It is not guaranteeing reduce the risk. So hence option 3 and option 4 are correct, because we have more of flexibility here. We don't have assurances that this would imply to something which is very fundamental. So this is how we can take this as. Now we have A/B testing. One more important concept that has been very much asked into ET. So let's take it. Dinesh, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So what A/B testing is, or the full form of it is alpha beta testing. Just simple thing. Or we can also say bucket testing or split run testing or split testing. It is simply a user experience research methodology through which you can experiment uh, two variants of situations, or we can also extend it to multiple variants to come up to a conclusion that yes, what is working or what is not working. So basically, you compare two situations, you ideate two things, two versions, and then you test against each other at how would that experiment perform, and which is better. Let's say I have two ideas, idea A and idea B. I want to know that which idea would work better for me. I'm on marketing role, I'm on a product role, or I'm on engineering role. So I want to roll out a product, and will that product really be beneficial? Or I have two product ideas, is to prioritize, because I would like both ideas. My company would approve me for both the ideas, but what does that really? Does that really make sense or not? That makes sense all part is being tested through A/B testing. Okay, it is used to make data driven decisions by testing one variable at a time, like anything you can say, anything. So in herein we keep one variant as the base or control and other is new feature to see how it performs compared to the base case. Like I'll say I'm running a campaign, okay, and that campaign assumes base audiences or base variants as 50, and through an experimental approach I am getting 200 as my customers in my, through my targeted campaign. So that 200 is something that is my control, I mean sorry, my new feature or my new experiment. So that how much rollout I'm getting onto my platform, or how much benefit I'm being how much I'm being benefited through that rollout. That testing or that hypothesis is something that deals with A/B testing. So we are tech students. Let's take a very techy example. You have an existing website of your company, okay, and the click rate is 52% because of a lot of redundancy on your platform. A lot of you don't have a good UI UX. You don't have a good user experience there. You don't have good UIs that attracts user. You don't have I mean user friendly interfaces there on like home button or services button or something. So, but once you modify these changes and incorporate them to create another version of that website, then your click rate increases to 72% or 80 or 90% or 100% something. Not possible 100%, but okay. So that increase of 20, 30, 40%, that is your A/B testing. I hope it clears. Now, steps involved. Okay, I'll take some theory again. Some key components involved. So version A is your control, the process or original design or content or process, anything that is your original thing, which is ideal or which is currently there, which is existing. B is a variant, the new alternative, or anything that you want to change in existing process. You test A against B, and then you see that if it is really working or not. And in these components, you also have to define the metrics of success. That it should be clearly defined. I mean, how are you going to evaluate that the product or the feature or the variant is really working or not? You need to define what are your metrics for success. You need to define it. It could be your click through rate, it could be a conversion rate, it could be engagement for social media, because you do a lot of social media post. क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा है. For any social media manager, it is important to understand algorithm of social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. So they would do A/B testing with a lot of posts which are working for us on one certain day, on one certain time. So I can try that. Let's say I am managing a LinkedIn handle. Uh, I want to create a post, and I usually post it at 6 p.m. But I'm not getting a good traffic or reach or engagement. Then I started posting it at 11 or 12 a.m. in the morning by doing some research. Let's say I know LinkedIn is mostly used by corporate professionals, so corporate professionals usually use LinkedIn at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. when they are going when they are on route to their offices. So I did some calculation, I did some math, and so that math I came up with some hypothesis. Okay, this could be true, and then I'll test it. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's try. I'll post it on 11 a.m. for some days, and on that sample data set, I'll form is it really working or not. So that is my matrix for success, and this is how you do A/B testing. That you take define the goals and metrics, you identify the elements to change, you then test it, and then you evaluate. That's how it is. Then you have some question about it. Let's take it. What is primary goal of A/B test? Let's go with the options. Test the scalability of a model. Okay. Compare two or more versions of a product or model to identify the best performer. Okay. Third is measure hardware resource utilization and validate the hypothesis using historical data. Okay. So let's take from here itself. We don't use historical data because we do real time data for our A/B testing. So this is wrong. We do not measure any sort of hardware resource utilization in A/B testing because we do test something against something. Are not utilizing some hardware resources to be precise. So this is wrong. Compare two or more versions of a product or model to identify the best performer. Yes, correct. Because A/B test, as the name suggests, alpha and beta test. We have two variants. We are comparing two models or products to identify which of them are the best performers. Then you have, again, this is wrong by default, that you do not test the scalability of a model because you are trying to figure out what is best performer, and based on that test you will be able to scale it up. You are not scaling it through A/B test. You are trying to identify what is performing best, and that best performing version, variant or model can be further scaled up as a full-fledged product or your services or anything, whatever your customer audience or customer base is. Now next is Swift, a new taxi aggregator platform that has developed a new recommendation engine called TinSage, and they want to test the recommendation engine by doing an A/B test. Can you identify the test and control groups? I think you should take 3 seconds and think about it. Dinesh, do you want to opine on this, or should I explain it?
I feel that the control would be the old model recommendation, and the test would be the new tin sage recommendation.
Sorry, come up again.
I feel that the control would be the old model recommendation, and the test would be the tin sage recommendation. Because obviously we want to test out whether the new alternative is correct or not, and in control we want to see against the old model whether it performs better than that or not.
Correct. So the correct answer for this question is control is your old model recommendation, and your test is Teen Seeds recommendation. Why? Let's break it down. In A/B test, we compare a new version, that is your test group in here, and an existing or a baseline version, which is a control group, to see which better performs. For this particular scenario, the Teen Sage is new recommendation engine Swift want to evaluate. They do not they've not yet you know rolled it out. They just want to evaluate, will it perform or not. It is not their it is not their pre-existing feature, it is a new feature. The old model is what they currently use to serve as a baseline. We see a lot of LLMs these days, uh, chat gpt or Claude or Gemini. We see a lot of new rollouts, 2.5 of Gemini to chat gpt 4, o3, 4.5. These are new rollouts. They're trying and testing each time, and they're trying to see what new recommendation, what new feature is working for them, and how is it working for them. This is your A/B testing. So every company, every tech company, or not even non-tech as well, everyone does A/B testing to evaluate the new product at very early stage, so that they are not in loss by directly rolling it out. They can simply understand if they can easily evaluate if it would really work or not. So, yes, for this question, the test group receives recommendations from TenSage, the new version being tested, and the control group continues to receive recommendation from the old model, the existing standard. So, for these two groups, test group and control group, you have parameters being evaluated. So, this is how this company can objectively assess if TenSage outperforms the old model in metrics like their booking rate, because they are a new taxi aggregator firm, or user satisfaction or click through rate, or anything that helps them to evaluate their new recommendation engine. So this is about this question. Another question, I mean, what could when should sorry huh, when should A/B test be done? Now let's brainstorm over this question. Options are: number one, after deploying the model in real world, after training the model, before testing on test data, before training the model. Sorry. So let's go with the options. First, after deploying the model in real world, no, we do not do A/B test after deploying. We do it in pre-date. So this is wrong. After training the model, before testing on test data, no. Before training the model, no. We need to make it up. Correct. We need to have something tangible. We need to have two products. We need to keep something against one another. A prototype has to be there. I mean to say. So the fourth option is correct because A/B test would be done before deploying the model in real world. Like it is your test case scenarios. We would do some test. We would have practice questions like we do in our GS, and then you have your PAs practice assignment, and then you have GA before applying your knowledge is into GA in your graded assignments. You do PAs. It is very, I mean, absurd example just to give you an understanding that we do not apply A/B test on some. I mean, do not put a product directly into market. We do A/B testing first before deploying the product in real world. So here are some basic statistical functions in Excel, which are necessary for your BDM course. Some range wherein you add all the values, average, which means to calculate mean, as we know, minimum range and maximum range. So to find out which returns smallest or largest value within that range. So you have selected one range of one column range. So within that range, what is your minimum or maximum value? So that's how you can find out from this formula. Median returns the middle value. Again, this is also of a range, some range within your Excel function. You have mod is the most frequent value. You have standard deviation, stat div, which measures the spread variation in data. So you also have some conditionals in Excel, if function and countif functions. So if is simply like true and false case, like we used to have in our CT courses, conditionals, if true and if not true. So this is your if condition. Countif is something you have multiple aggregators there or multiple criterias to evaluate the countif function. If is simply about true and false cases. Countif is based on some certain multiple criteria. You can make a count of that function. So lookup and VLOOKUP. Lookup and VLOOKUP are simply, VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. These are two syntaxes again in Excel, which are essential in your BDM. Can you for a minute?
Yep.
Hello,
Yes.
can you take it this part just for 2 minutes?
Sure. So you can see about this lookup functions in Excel. This is basically used to reference either one part of the sheet to the other, forming a key value pair, or one sheet to other. As you can see, one of the benefits is that of XLOOKUP is that it works both horizontally and vertically, and it offers better error handling. On the other hand, VLOOKUP, which is also very used, requires sorted columns for approximate match, but it is prone to errors compared to XLOOKUP if keys are missed or duplicated. I think we can move on to the next slide.
I think so. Sorry, I just did a call. Thank you so much for taking it. So
Yep.
pivot tables are another one of major chunk of your data analytics part in BDM or in general. So why you use pivot tables? Because it helps in efficient data analysis. It handles a lot of complex and large data sets and breaks them down into very simpler, understandable rows and columns like pivots. It helps in creating dynamic reports. You can uh, easily take some certain columns and certain values, like as you can see here. You can create a analysis of whatever you want in very sophisticated way, that yes, I want only these two columns to be there, that's it, I don't want anything else. I want to infer those two columns, what exactly these columns would give me, like a trend or a chart or uh, growth or performance or anything like that. So in all of these cases, I can easily create a pivot and see what is trending. Okay, yes, this is trending. Okay, he is having better performances. This is how it would work in more efficient ways. It has use cases in business analysis, academic analysis. For academics, you can use pivots in analyzing your research data. If I am conducting any laboratory research, in that research, I have found out some data. And to infer that data, I would create a pivot, and through that pivot, I can create a lot of charts like star chart, bar chart, trend chart, anything that helps me to infer that data. So yes, mostly pivots are about data inferences. Understanding pivot layout would be simply like fields can be placed as row labels in pivot table. Values can have your count, some of these entities. In filter, you can simply put a filter on what you want and what you don't want. So this is how you take pivot on your Excel sheets. One question we have here, which is which Excel function can be used to search for a certain value from another table and retrieve a reference value based on the original table data. So it is our VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is used to retrieve reference values or data from any table. Like VLOOKUP is an Excel function that can search for a value in first column of a table and then return a value in same row from another column simply. So if you really want to find something x from y, then you can simply like VLOOKUP bracket this value column range and then your integral and then condition simply. This is your VLOOKUP. Then we have the most uh, important segment here, which is your OEE, overall equipment effectiveness. What it implies to. It is a measure of how effectively a machine or a process is being utilized. So it is calculated by multiplying three key factors or three key metrics, which is availability, performance, and quality. How we see availability? What exactly is availability? So availability measures how much of plant production time is actually used for production. This is your availability. And performance. Performances are performance measures how much closely the machine runs to design to its design speed when it's operating. Because you need to know the performance of machine as well, right? And for quality, it measures the ratio of good non-defective units produced to the total unit produced. So it is like your good divided by total, that thing. This is your OEE. You have to multiply all of these three parameters to find OEE. So this is your formula for OEE, which is availability, performance, and quality. For availability, the formula is total available time minus downtime divided by total available time, which means you have to divide. I mean, first of all, subtract total available time from downtime and then divide it by total available time. So that will be your availability A here. Then for production, you have actual production speed divided by theoretical maximum speed. So just simply put the value here when you compute it. And for quality as well, compute good parts produced divided by total parts produced, and then you can have this, then you can just found OEE. It's so simple, man. You can try it. I mean, we'll have a question once. So we have this question here. Based on the data in table, calculate the missing values x1, x2, x3, and x4. X1 is your lost time, x2 is your actual machine speed, x3 is your quality, and fourth is your OEE. So as we saw here, let's go with the solution. How to calculate the lost time? Lost time would be simply the plant production time, which is 8 hours as given in question. See here, and availability. What would be availability then? So we would simply subtract x1, which is what we want to find out lost time, downtime, which we can say 8 minus 1 divided by 8, which would be somewhere near around 0. 0.6 point, sorry for the comma, 0.875. When you multiply it by 8, you do the calculations, man, and your answer would be this 7. I mean 1 hour. 1 hour is your lost time. This is the time you have lost. Uh, so because your plant production time is this, okay, and then it took 7. I mean availability was 7 hours. Your plant production time was 8 hours. You lost 1 hour in the process. So the answer is 1 here. Now, how to determine total units produced? Once we know what the x1 for operating time is, which is our operating time is 7 hours total. इतने लोगों ने काम किया है. This is the actual time employees have worked for. Now, given you have a performance of 90%, and then design speed is 200, so simply we'll divide total units produced by design speed, and then that's how you can compute the value. Like the total units produced would be 90 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 200, which is your 1260 units. And then now to calculate x2 or the actual machine speed. Actual machine speed would be your total unit produced divided by operating time. So this 1260 as we figured out there, divided by 7, which is the operating time. 7 hours was the time, and once you compute that, you will have 180 units per hour, which is your actual machine speed, which came out. What was there? It is not the ideal machine speed or the one 200, which is design machine speed. I mean, which is ideally machine should function as, which is not, because you already have one factor, limiting factor, which is operating time. 1 hour was reduced from this, and which reduced the total production. So it affected your actual machine speed. Somewhere it is this 180 units per hour. So now we have to calculate the quality. Quality is a ratio of good units of total divided by, I mean, is to the total units. So uh, good units produced is your in question we can see it is 1050, and we computed the total units produced, which is 1260. Correct. So once we take a ratio of both of them, we can compute it as 83.33%. So your quality is 83%, 83.33%. Then now calculating or putting all of these values here, we have availability is 87 point, sorry, 0.875. You have performance is 90. You have quality is 83. Then I mean how it will be computed once you multiply all of these and you divide it by one. That's how you can compute the answer. It's 63, 65.63. So here is one DIY for you all. Do it yourself. Uh, you can take the time and try this question. It is an easy question. Hint is simply the OE formula. So try it, and if you have any doubts, you can shoot in the comments. So here are some more extra added knowledge. for financial statements and analysis. Balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statements, statements of change in capital, uh, notes to financial statement, marginal and total utility concept, and utility and price mechanisms. So balance sheet is simply about assets, liability, and equity in some firm. That's how you compute your balance sheets. Income statement is your simply profit loss statement. All of the firms have their own profit and loss statements. Cash flow statements, these are the activity and functions. I mean, what are you giving and what are you getting? This is your cash flow. So, statement of change in capital, it means simply how much capital uh, change in capital is there. That statement is your statement of change in capital. Marginal and total utility. These are two important concepts to understand. Marginal and total utility as a whole. You would see them being used in a lot of factions of economics and in fact in finances. So total utility represents the overall satisfaction of a customer that he gets from consuming a given good or services. So the total satisfaction I'm getting from buying or consuming any good or services, it's my uh, total utility. While marginal utility is an additional satisfaction gained from consuming one more unit of that goods and services. Now, example is, uh, I want a phone. I am satisfied purchasing one phone. I would not be satisfied taking another phone. So I'm not. I don't want that. So, but if I am eating one chocolate, I am getting one another. I'll be satisfied. Okay, fine. I'm liking the taste. Correct. So as the consumption increases, total utility typically rises, but marginal utility usually diminishes due to law of diminishing marginal utility. So this is your one of key economic principles: marginal utility and total utility. Marginal utility goes down with each added satisfaction, but total utility goes up. So next, we have financial ratios, which is liquidity, profitability, curing. You also have some e-commerce principles or industry structure of e-commerce. You have manufacturing trends, charts. So let's take it in more simpler way. If I'll define it as. So what exactly is this? Just take a time and think about what exactly do you understand from financial ratios. Liquidity means simply how much cash does the company have. Profitability is simply like whatever my company is being benefited or profited is. And gearings, like overall equipmental things. Within e-commerce and in inventory, you have some essential details you need to ponder upon. So what are they? What are these? We'll be discussing them one on one now. So e-commerce industry is completely your buying and selling of goods and services like over internet. We use a lot of shopping platforms, Amazon, Flipkart, Mintra, or anything. I mean, we have Zapto, Zomato, Swiggy. All of these places to shop. We have online marketplaces, digital payments, logistic behind delivering products to consumers. It was not highly prominent pre COVID 19. COVID 19 was one major element that gave us a lot of room to equip ourselves on this e platforms or online platforms or electronic platforms because a lot of retail stores were shut down because of lockdowns, and that opportunity came up with better ways to progress, if you can say. So um, role of data in e-commerce. Data is one of essential things in general whenever we infer anything, any business per se. It's not just about e-commerce. It's not just about any tech business or something. It is everything in general. How are we benefiting from data, or what exactly data speaks about? The collected data, which have sort of your consumer habits, consumer behavior, your way of browsing, whatever you browse, or your preferences. Let's say I'm very frequent consumer of Amazon. So I Amazon would have data on my search preferences, whatever I purchase, what I don't purchase, on my habits. Like, okay, I would card this product, but I would not purchase it. My behavior around it, how I think when I, the way I try to take decisions. So these this is one essential role where data comes in. Data can help them shape an algorithm, which can in return give me what I want, the personalized experience. That's how data shapes any industry, not just e-commerce. It was just example of e-commerce. Now you have one thing, which is your consumer relationship management (CRM) uh, within e-commerce itself. So there are two sort of CRMs. One is traditional CRM, traditional retail CRM, or other is e-commerce CRM. For traditional retail CRM, it relies on personal relationship, where store owners or staff may regularly interact with the customers. There are a lot of brand loyalty schemes in offline stores that you'd get a lot of incentive for that amount of purchase, this amount of purchase, and for high volume customers, you get incentives for, like, let's say they'd give you Diwali cards or your birthday cards. These are traditional retail CRMs. It was there. I'm not really sure about how much brands keeps it now intact, but pre-COVID it was there. There would have been brands who would give you a lot of personal interaction things or personalized services that will help you shape your loyalty towards the brand. So uh, and for e-commerce CRM, they use a lot of data to create personalized experiences, because now since we are into AI driven age or data driven age, uh, we would want something to be personalized around us. I want to shop uh, sneakers, so I don't want any unobvious brands, or to say something I don't want on my cart list, on my display list. I would want it from a good sneaker collection places, or let's say Adidas or Nike or something like that. So that personalization, based on my segmented behavior, that really shapes a lot, because it is automating their marketing efforts. If they are giving me something I want, they are getting more customers, or at least they would get more. They would have more chances to get me as a customer, right? You also have predictive analysis, and AI in e-commerce. So a lot, which uses a lot of historical data, statistical algorithms, and machine learning techniques to predict future outcomes. In e-commerce, this is something really necessary to meet your demand and supply, to meet your inventory by forecasting demands for specific products based on trends, seasonality, and customer behavior. This is important, really. And more whatever we can think of. There are some more concepts like supply chain management, distribution centers, and customer experience and efficiencies. So these things does really, you know, takes leap of thoughts into e-commerce. And further advancing here, we also have one more thing, which is manufacturing sector, which involves the production of goods through processing of raw materials. Yes, manufacturing we are. So manufacturing sector, as we all know, manufacturing is mostly around production of goods and services that are being produced from any raw material. Let's say textile industry, there's chemical industry, or any automotive industry. So they would begins raw materials. For a textile industry, you can expect cotton. Cotton is a raw material. From cotton, they have uh, threads. Threads then convert into clothes. Clothes then into grooming industry. You get ready-made cloths, or you get a cloth. You can get it stitched as per your preferences. So these are the things that revolves around manufacturing sector. It is it plays crucial role in economic development, job creation, innovation, because your major chunk of income lies on goods and services, and since these are your basic utilities, so you need to rely on them. You need to be focused on them. So this is something of a key parameter we need to take into consideration. Then gear assembly, the term. It refers to the process of putting together gears and associated components to create a functional gear system. Gears are your mechanical components that transits motion and torque between shifts, like typical physics gears. So there are some certain type of gears. There are assembly processes. I'm not going to the very theoretical part here because this is not so much essential as per my opinion. But yes, so I think let's okay. Now let's also cover two, three more essential subtopics. One is your cost breakdown and profitability analysis, and other is inventory management. So for cost breakdown and profitability analysis, first is your cost components, like which is your direct materials, direct labor, production overheads, and general administrative overheads. So these are something which are associated with your cost components. And then you have margin calculations, like which is your COGS, cost of goods and services, which is calculated by sum of direct materials, direct labors, and production overhead. That's how you can compute your gross margin. Like, are we really profitable or not? Through breaking down our cost on how much you have to spend, and through that expenditure, how much profitability can we attain. So this is your cost breakdown. That is inventory management. So for inventory management, you need to focus on some certain parameters. First is your order and quality, and inventory levels. Like within your inventory levels, your uh, order quantity should be optimum. You need to have you know amount of each plant that needs to be ordered to meet production requirements. You need to have enough stock to cover the demand. I am a Zomato store, or like I am an offline retail store of anything. I should know that there is this Monday, and on Monday there would be a lot of demand of one certain product for some reason. I don't know why, but yes, it is. I need to fulfill my stock for that to cover the demand, else I lose my customers. And other is your ending inventory, the stock of the amount of stock remaining at the end of each month. This affects how much needs to be ordered to maintain production schedules, which means that at the end of month I have ordered, let's say, 30 SKUs of 30 pieces of any product, and at the end of month I'm left with 5 or 7. So I have a historical data. Okay, for the first month I have 7 units left. For the second month it is somewhere around 5 or 6. For the third month again it is somewhere around 7 or 5 to 7. So I can infer a very standard calculation that yes, 7 is something I'm being left with, so I need to order only somewhere around 25, so that even if I want to play safe or to play as per my inventory records, I still have surplus of 1 or 2 products that I can meet for extra demands. Then you also have to take necessary steps for safety stock and reorder point. Safety stock number one, which is your extra inventory held to account for variability in demand or supply delays, ensuring the production can continue smoothly even if unexpected issue arises. As I mentioned in previous example, you need to have some surplus. So that is a safety stock. Each inventory has to have some extra stock. Let's say if there is some price fluctuation in market, you are a cotton ginning owner, and there is some rate or market flux in market, and on that basis you really have a lot of constraints in buying something or new buying more cotton. So you should have that extra stock with you of cotton, which can fulfill for which can cover for your this. period, the buffer period. Then you need to ensure one more thing, which is reorder point, the inventory level at which the new order should be placed. This is calculated based on safety stock and lead time demand to prevent short outs, yeah, stock outs. What exactly this is? Let's decipher. This is a point where you should realize, okay, now I need to order the new stock because my inventory is about to exhaust. That point is your reorder point, and this is calculated how? Based on safety stock and lead time demand to prevent any sort of problems. Let's say I know this is my safety stock. Now, since I am running in my safety stock, this is high time for me to reorder. This is the reordering point. Now, what exactly this lead time demand refers to? Lead time demand is the amount of inventory needs to cover the period between placing an order and receiving it. So if I place an order today, it is not guaranteed that I'll receive the order by today itself. It will take some time to replenish, right? It will take 1 day, 2 day, 4 days, 7 days, 10 days, 10 or 15 or 20 days sometimes when the order is at bulk. So that lead time, that time duration between placing an order and receiving it is something I need to compute in order to have or to calculate the reorder point, because without this I cannot you know take some calculations or computations on how exactly or when to order the new stock, because I need to know what is the buffer period. Let's say today I'll order one 1 ton of cotton, okay, and I cannot expect it to be delivered tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or something. So I need to have that 3 4 days of buffer with me, so that up till my new stock is there, I have this spare stock so that I can use it and my production and my manufacturing does not affects. So this is your inventory management. You also have one more thing, ABC classification. ABC classification is a method to prioritize inventory management based on the value and importance of items. It categorizes items into three groups: A, B, and C, to optimize inventory control efforts and resource allocation. So what you do is basically you categorize items into three groups: A, B, and C. Okay, fine. A is the category which is high value item, mm, which is going to give me high monetary value, significant capital investment, which requires strict controls, monitoring due to high cost, and it emphasizes on JIT, just in time purchasing to avoid tying up capital in inventory. Like you can see examples like electronic devices, mobile phones, or laptops, or tablets, or iPads. These are your high value items. B is the category or moderate value items. Which example again simple is your moderate cost things. Uh, you can say your earphones, your this earbuds. These are your not exactly middle value, but yes, you can say in middle value somewhere. And then you have low value items, which are like your groceries or low cost consumables, which you can, you know, you don't have a lot of control on, or you don't need a lot of control on. Bulk, which you will purchase mostly in bulk. I mean, in our households, we see there is like monthly stock of grains and pulses or any sort of edibles or something that has to go there for a month at our house. So this is your C category. This is your ABC classification. Just in order to prioritize everything or every item into three groups: A, B, and C. So again, I'll iterate about the management focus of these three categories. For A category, management focus is you are required to have a strict control and monitoring due to high cost and importance. You should emphasize on just-in-time purchasing to avoid tying up capital in inventory. Like you would not really want that I would keep 20 iPhones with me in my shop and just keep it straight. No, I would order just in time. If you need it, tell me. I'll place an order with my mediator and then sell it to my customer. So this is important. For your middle value items or your P categories, you require good record keeping and structured orderings, like less critical than A, but still important for operational efficiencies. Because you cannot keep a lot of bulk for these categories as well. You cannot have a lot of like, okay, 20 or 15 SKUs would be fine, but you cannot keep a lot of bulk for this. So you need to keep a good records of how much sales you are having per month, and against that sale you can have structured ordering. And the last, again, as I explained, groceries or low cost consumables, which are mostly bulk ordering. So here you have minimal control required. Your bulk purchasing is preferred here, and which reduces ordering cost and benefits from economies of scale. Economies of scale is another one essential principle. Here, let's not go there. Um, then you, I think we are mostly done with BDM. Vignesh, is there anything else we need to discuss?
I do not think so. I think we
Here's
can
one
end
question
with this.
that we can take.
Yes.
We can take one question and then we can wind it up.
Okay.
So the question is, what implications does a bimodal distribution in household transportation expenditure data point to? So taking this as a question, most households spend a similar amount on transportation. There are two distinct group of household based on transportation spending. Transportation expenditure is evenly distributed across all households, and there is negative correlation between income and transportation spending. Now, before delving into the correct answer, let me explain you what exactly bimodal distribution is. A bimodal distribution means to the data that has two peaks. In other words, two values or ranges where data is concentrated. When we say bimodal pattern in household transportation expenditure, it simply would give you understanding, or it would suggest you that there are two distinct clusters of household with two different spending habits. One group might represent households that can rely heavily on public transport, or they have like no vehicles of their own. Another could consist of those who own and maintain personal vehicles, like leading to high expenses. Hence, like I hope this makes clear that this is the correct answer. There are two distinct group of household based on transportation spending, because we are referring to bimodal distribution in household transportation, which means we have two peaks. We have two different or we have two different spending habits of two different household or two different clusters. So the correct answer is there are two distinct group of household based on transportation spending. So I hope we were able to give you some quick review on BDM. This is just a summary session, just to revise you some basic theories and take you to some basic principles that can help you in end-term examination. Thank you for your time, and all the best for the examinations.
I think the recording can be stopped.